Elon Musk's strategy for where his companies Tesla, SpaceX, and XAI are going to go is even bigger than any of us ever thought. Last week, he said that surprisingly, his companies are trending towards convergence. There are just so many possibilities that even the most bullish of Tesla investors have not yet considered. Yesterday, Elon suggested he'd be down to partner with Apple. At first, it can be as simple as just as XAI fixing Siri for Apple phones, but could there be even more of a relationship? Tim Cook is said to be retiring next year, and what a great way for him to redeem himself. Of course, he's a hero when it comes to how much he grew Apple's market cap. Every single day since he took over in 2011, he added over $700 million of market cap. Every day. But it's also true, Tim missed on self-driving cars. He missed on AI, and he missed on robots. Wouldn't it be poetic if somehow, as a last act, Tim partners with Elon? Another competitor that may be a good partner instead in the future is Jeff Bezos. Jeff just now announced he is creating a new AI startup called Project Prometheus. Elon jokingly responded by laughing and saying Jeff's a copycat. Maybe they start off as competitors, but in the end, there might also be partnerships. The person I love talking to about these kinds of thought exercises is Joe Bakhti. He's an economist and tech entrepreneur. He has a YouTube channel covering both Tesla and AGI. Check out his website and community at pioneerlands.net. Welcome, Joe.
Good to be here, Howard.
Competition, partnership, and the big ideas. I know you spend a lot of time thinking about this. So Tesla, SpaceX, and XAI. So my thesis about this show today is talking about that there's a lot of things that we as Tesla investors have not even thought about that could happen in the future. That's very bullish for Tesla investors. We know that last week, Elon said this, my companies are surprisingly, in some ways, trending towards convergence. So I've done a few shows talking about what does that mean? What does it mean? How do you get to, space-based AI data centers and so forth? This guy, X Freeze, posted this. It's time for Apple to team up with XAI and actually fix Siri. Replace that outdated, painfully dumb assistant with Grok 4.1. Siri deserves to be super intelligent. Grok 4.1 is ready today. And Elon said, I'm down. So as simple as this, though, it's just as simple as Siri. Why do you think it hasn't happened? Do you think it's even a possibility?
Well, the interesting thing is that's what we are discussing in Pioneer Lands, these topics, because we are entering a new phase in human history. We have entered it. I call it the age of AGI, where fundamental things are going to change in very deep ways, and it already has started. And the way to think about that is, that's also when I do portfolio construction to be ready for that new age. What are the hot companies? What are the hot drivers of civilization? Because that's what companies are at this point, that actually define that. And that's my universe, my AGI universe. And when I look at that, it's Tesla, embodied AI, robots, autonomy. Then it's what I call the Mag 5. Mag 5 is Mag 7 minus NVIDIA minus Tesla, because they have special roles, which leaves the Mag 5. Now, these Mag 5, Amazon, Meta, Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, they are competitors, and Google, of course. They are competitors because they're converged too much, right? There's a lot of stuff going on, and they can't leave each other alone, in my opinion. And they are the big ones sitting in the middle of this. And then you have the semiconductors, of course, with NVIDIA, the big one, and then AMD and Broadcom and so on. And then you have the crypto guys, and then you have the finance guys and the organizational AI guys, Palantir, Snowflake, and so on. And that's the universe. And in this universe, a vast share of human civilization of the future will be decided. Of course, there's a big tweak that I'm not going to talk here about in Pioneer Lands, why I believe that's a giant chunk that doesn't even exist yet is left out. The human economy, right? How we actually live and all these things. No one is doing that. But that big thing means you can basically understand these players better. Tesla is, kind of an N of one, sitting there and doing all the stuff that just no one can do. Now, why I think Amazon will be the biggest competitor for Tesla for a long time is, first of all, the character, right? Jeff Bezos. You know that he's doing all these things Elon does, and he's copying him a little bit, and he's lagging, and there is severe competition. Blue Origin now landed the rocket, so they're just catching up and not catching up, but they're doing the same thing. I think now on the AI side, you can see that Amazon is positioned in very similar ways to the Musk economy, not by chance. So I would not bet on big corporation there because this will be one of the big contests. The others are more open, but they're all, competing. And when it comes to Apple, I was never the biggest Apple fan, to be totally frank. I have a personal bias, but I think Apple is the weak boy in that club.
Mm-hmm.
They're clearly left behind. Microsoft's totally killing it. Google, even though I don't like certain things about Google, but people will be surprised. I think Google is gearing up for a big overtake on AI. Gemini 3 coming. They're not to be underestimated. Meta,
Gemini 3 was relaunched yesterday, and it's already better than Grok 4.1.
Yeah. I mean, Gemini 3, people will be surprised. Google was left out in the beginning, but Google is absolutely not just catching up. There will be a very dominant force. I think Microsoft is playing it super smart. Also, the AI boss is super smart. So I'm very bullish on them. I'm unfortunately also very bullish on Google because I don't like them ideologically a little bit, but they are very strong. And I think the underdog where my money is actually on is Meta. This is a long story why. I think Jan LeCun was the big roadblock for everything that's happening there. Everything else is very well positioned, and he held it all up, and he's gone now. That will unlock total success for Meta. So these three are the big ones, right? And they will dominate. And then Apple is the weak boy. Apple has just lost it, right? So Apple has to now figure out what they do. But it's not going to be that easy that they just say, oh, yeah, Elon, take over Apple, because these are all power games. Apple still has some assets. They have a giant user base. They have the iPhone. And so the future phone can still be in Apple's hands. They have the Apple universe. So they know they have serious assets. And I think what they have to do, if they have any brains, let's see who's the next leader, they have to play the other 4 or 5 against each other. So they need to partner a little with Google, partner a little with Microsoft, partner a little with the AI extensions, by the way. That's what people forget. Claude and Anthropic is effectively Amazon that just announced a big deal. ChatGPT and OpenAI is still very Microsoft adjacent. Grok is in the Musk universe. I think they have to play them a little bit, because at the minute where you become beholden to any one of them, they're going to crush you, including Grok. I mean, if Apple becomes dependent on Grok, I mean, Apple basically belongs to Elon. And you don't want that as Apple. You want to still play for the win. And the same if you become beholden to Google, they're going to take you over. So now the AI guys are in charge, and the big AI guys are Elon, Amazon, Microsoft, and Google, and I think soon also Meta. I think these are the big players.
Yeah. I mean, Apple has partnered with Google, and what I'm saying is they should partner with Tesla and XAI because of what you're saying, spread it out. But okay, so there's two train of thoughts here. One is, what I'm suggesting is, if I'm Tim Cook, and I'll explain, I'll show you some slides here, I would save his legacy and be able to show that he's thinking about the future, partner with Elon now. But what you just said is maybe they'll have to wait till next year when they got the new CEO in place and have him be the one to say, okay, enough of this. We need to partner with Elon. So we'll see which one goes. So here is
Herbert, the little problem with this is, of course, when I think through these future scenarios, we can't just think through in a biased way. Of course, that would be very good for Elon, but it's not very good for Apple, because Apple is sitting there and they have a problem. If they partner with any of these people, all they do is passing on their data and their users to whoever captures them.
They've already partnered with Google. That's what I'm saying. They need a new Siri, and that's what they've done. Is they didn't develop their own. They're partnering.
Well, but they need to figure out something, regardless if it's Grok or Google or Anthropic. They need to figure out how they can win this, right? How can you develop a Siri and outsource it to someone without outsourcing the entire data capture and everything? So I don't know. They need to figure that out, or Apple will cease to exist as an independent entity.
So it's, irony of irony, of course, is Apple has done amazing, right? They are actually the largest company on the world. They're about to beat NVIDIA. They keep switching places. So they've done very well. Here's a great stat. Michael Batnick, thank you. He said, if this is the end for Tim Cook, his run will go down in history, in a good way is what he's saying. Over $700 million of market cap has been added on average every day since 2011. That's 14 years. Every single day in those 14 years, the market cap went up by $700 million. That's ridiculous. How much he grew Apple. All right, this is how fast Apple's grown. This is per second, per minute, per hour, per day. That's 700 million, but you can see here 248 trillion per year. Okay, so not trillion. What is this? It's got to be like what? Billion. Yeah, that's something weird. That
Billion.
Yeah, I'm mixing it up. Oh, yeah,
Billion.
Yeah, per year. That's not right. Something's wrong.
How
It's a
many years is
250.
this?
Yeah.
Oh, this
Okay.
can be. This is
So
14 years. Yeah.
Elon said, very impressive, of course. But I like what Shill said. Okay, Tim Cook missed on self-driving cars, AI, and robotics. These will be 3 leading markets of the future. He drove Apple to the ground without investors realizing it, because it will take another 5 to 10 years for it to be evident. So even though he's grown the company this high, it doesn't have a presence in self-driving cars, AI, and robotics. All he cared about was keeping Apple at the top of the market. All investors were hypnotized by the valuation because they bought back the stock because they're so cash heavy. And that's what made the stock go up. But there's really no new innovation. The moment NVIDIA rose to take Apple's place, Tim Cook was done there. Sorry to disagree, but his legacy will be that of someone who was short-sighted, focused on milking margins instead of innovation, with a few good moves on the way, like Apple TV, their iPhone ecosystem improvement, and many extremely bad moves like killing the iMac and computer divisions for well over a decade, lack of the innovation. So yeah, I mean, so let's talk about that a little bit.
I totally,
yeah,
1,000,000% agree with Sil, whatever the name is, Shil.
Yeah.
Because I'm extremely unimpressed by Tim Cook. We're doing Pioneer Lands. It's about the future, not the past. Like, of course, if someone hands you over the legacy of Steve Jobs, how incompetent do you have to be to not grow to the largest company? You don't need to do anything. It's like being US president. Like, you don't need to do anything. You're sitting on top of the United States. You can still mess up massively. And even then, nothing big happens. But it's not, it's easy. And you see decreasing growth. That's not great. That's all I see. And behind the scenes, they did everything wrong. They didn't prepare for the future. They lost on AI. They didn't manage to turn this into a real tech company. It was all incremental margin milking. And that's just boring. I don't even know what Apple did the last 10 years, like iPhone 110, like who cares? So it's very depressing, in my opinion. The innovations they tried, the little, what is it, headset thing, never made any sense. So I'm extremely unimpressed. And maybe I'm a little militant about these things, but you know what? That's why I have Pioneer Lands. I'm excited about the future. And I despise leaders who are sitting on $100 billion cash stacks and completely fail to do even the slightest innovation, while other people like Elon completely accelerate, right? They do the opposite when they sit on that much cash. They then do Optimus. They do moon land, like whatever, space exploration. So that's what you have to do. And they could have done the Amazon thing, just copy Elon a little bit. Just at least copy him.
They tried to create a car and they failed. 10 years.
They failed. Jeff Bezos is not failing. Jeff Bezos copies SpaceX, and at some point now it's landing the rocket.
We'll talk about Jeff Bezos.
Yeah, even if you're a little lame, you can still copy, and even if you lag, you can still get there.
They tried. So Tim Cook, my point about poetic, right? Because you remember the story where Elon called him in 2018 and said, "Can you please buy us? Because we're about to go down." And he said no, or didn't even take his call. What a missed opportunity for Apple at that point. Now, before he leaves, what if he did partner with Elon this year and says, okay, I know my mistake, but I don't know the politics. I don't know how much the relationship. I don't know how much he hates him or whatever. But wouldn't it be great if there was some sort of partnership? I'm still holding out hope for that.
I'm actually not too. I'm not too.
You don't care.
Excited about random partnerships. I would be excited from a Tesla perspective if there would be a master plan to just take them over. That's cooler. But partnerships are generally lame, especially in that whole AGI space. There is no partnerships. There's like, this is a deadly battle for supremacy. It's like Meta partnering with Microsoft. I would not buy into that. There's like, these people have to play for the win, and Apple is losing right now. So what will they do? Well, they either get broken up and taken over, or they develop some kind of plan, which I don't know how. They would need a really interesting leader. So this will be one of the big questions, because Apple has great assets. If they would have a leader, they could do cool things. They're totally the underdog, but they could pull it off. But it really will depend on the leader. So I can't wait to hear who he is, and that will be interesting. But if you go into that competition, just to make clear what I think about these people, I mean, Alphabet, I'm very unimpressed. I don't know how they're even being run, but they still pull off amazing things. So this is like its own animal. The others are very clearly structured, right? Satya Nadella is just iconic. Like, this guy is very smart. Mark Zuckerberg, do not underestimate Zuckerberg. Like, he is a very aggressive and smart cookie. Jeff Bezos, don't underestimate. Jens Huang, these are masters of their craft. And then, of course, on top of all of them is Elon. That's the competition. So if you want to be CEO of Apple, good luck.
And it's not Tim Cook, yeah. Larry Goldberg had a proposal. He's been talking about it for a while, where he says that Tesla could actually have voting control over Apple. And he explains why he thinks it's really, really important for Tesla to do this. The data, having access to all the phones, what you can do with that.
I mean, that's for me much more interesting, Herbert, than stupid partnerships. The question is
take over.
So weak that you can take it over. And I think potentially. And
that's the largest company in the world. I don't think so. But according to Larry, he thinks it only takes 15% of the company to do it.
If you have weak leadership, and compared to what I just outlined, like, these are formidable dudes, all of them. And now you have this weakly Apple, right? So I think it is a huge prize. I mean, there's no doubt. And let's see. So I'm more excited about that. I'm not excited about a partnership. It's like, can Elon take over this thing? Which I have no respect for giant structures with stupid leadership, because in the age of AGI, you are toast in no time. That includes Apple. So,
I wouldn't put it past Elon, right? Because imagine what happens to XAI if you have access to all these. Now, he thinks that phones are dead, all right? He thinks it's going to become these edge devices with AI controlling everything. So he might just ignore this whole part of it. He says, I can take it over without having to buy the company.
And also, don't forget why I'm saying these people are dead. Sure, it's a great asset, but look at OpenAI. I mean, they are closing into 1 billion users now. I mean, how many more does Apple have? And they did this in no time. So
it's a way for XAI to get to multi-billions.
If Grok gets really good, they can get to 1 billion or 2 billion users in no time.
That's what I'm saying. If Grok partners with XAI, Grok, which is XAI, partners with Tesla iPhones. So let me just show you the Grok 4.1 was released a few days ago, and I know small letters here. Small font. Multimodal vision is actually good now. Significantly lower hallucination rate on edge case knowledge, so it's more accurate. Faster inference with zero quality drop. Native 1 million context window, properly usable. Better tool orchestration. Improved maximally true-seeking calibration. Voice mode is no longer cringe. And Elon said, pretty accurate. So this is improvements on Grok 4.1. And Elon just said today, 4.1 is actually a major release. Now, Gemini 3 launched, and now they're showing stats to show that they're ahead of 4.1 even. So they're like fighting each other like this.
But I did a quick test today, and Jeff, I read Jeff's test, and I also posted my mini test.
Yeah.
Yes, Grok 4.1 is very serious. This is a very serious update.
Elon said, yep, we're a rocket ship. But yeah, you're right. I mean, your thesis is that this is not just about, products and all that. This is AGI. This is supremacy. And if it is, maybe Elon goes, okay, you know what? Watch me. Hold my beer, right? Hold my beer. Let me show you. I'm going to go take over Apple, get billions and billions of users instantly.
I'm serious, Herbert. I think that's why we have Pioneer Lands. This is not about companies anymore or little subscriptions or users. It's about global domination. We are talking, forget Russia, China, US, no one cares. This is about these Mag 5, not Mag 7, because NVIDIA is playing it horizontally. It says, I don't care, I'm just shipping it. So NVIDIA has an interesting position, but the other 6, minus Apple, right? But Tesla, Meta, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, these will be the new nation states or whatever. They are battling it out to dominate the planet. And of course they need cash and their businesses, but this is way more than that. And they know it. They know it 100%. None of them has any illusions. And so this is, the more we talk about this, the more I think Apple is not going to make it. Someone
I
is
don't think they're going to make it.
Slaughter it, and it's probably going to be Elon, because Elon can sneak in there. Because in a way, Elon is the least competitive in the Apple mind. In the Apple mind, is like, oh, Google, oh, Microsoft, these are my competitors. But Elon is a little out of left field. Like, he's not that dangerous for us. And so one of them is going to take Apple, in my opinion.
Okay, you heard it here first, but it is absolutely true what Shill said, right? Apple does not have a play in self-driving cars, does not have a play in AI, which is just shocking. They're Mag 7 and they have no play in AI. They're claiming next year they'll come out with something, and then they have no play in robots. Another shocking thing. Of anything, personal consumer products, that would have been perfect for them.
I mean, a small little
R2D2. Yeah, or like something, because that's like so perfect for them, right? To consumer relationship.
But here's the thing, Herbert. Here's the thing. These things, you cannot win this battle as a normal corporate entity. You need to have a supreme leader who is fanatic and ruthless. And that's what all of the others have. Jensen Huang, he's very nice. He is a supreme leader who is ruthless, who knows everything. Elon, don't get me started. Zuckerberg, this guy's fanatic. Like, he is willing to kill for winning, right? So, and Bezos, he's chilling out on his yachts, but he's really getting back into the game.
He's back in the game.
And Satya is just an incredibly smart and also aggressive cookie. And Google, I don't know, they're like a weird amorphous entity, but they're doing serious stuff. So,
according to Elon, he thinks Google is the actual competitor for AI. They really kill her because that's their DNA, you know?
They are also like what is it? The
Borg?
The source of the Borg, the source of all evil, Borg, according to Elon. So, which he might be right about it. So,
Star Trek Borg.
But this is what we are dealing with. You have the Borg, an alien, potentially evil entity with Google, and then you have the 4 madmen, or 5, and then you have stupid little Apple. And that's why, because when you think about it, they should have developed AI. They should have developed robots. They should have.
They were first to Siri. Right? I don't know about the car. I don't think that they were set up for the car. That was a mistake on their part. But they were first with Siri, and they bumbled that.
And when you want to know how you have to do it, and that's why I'm always throwing in the other guys. I love to have respect for great aggressive leaders, even if they're evil, because it's interesting. We cannot just always stare at Elon. Of course, Elon's the guy who's just completely killing it all the time. But look at Zuckerberg and Elon, for example, how you approach AI. You're behind, both of them, right? Elon jumps in and says, okay, let's buy this and let's build like crazy stuff. And he just, like a fanatic, goes in and absolutely kills it. Zuckerberg failed a little bit because of Jan LeCun. Mark my words, you will see. But he is all in. He's fanatic and he's still failing, but you can see the obsession. And this is missing in Apple. Tim Cook's like, oh yeah, we just hired a bunch of AI researchers. Didn't work out. It's like,
I know.
Yeah, guess what, dude? That's not how you do it.
Exactly. Okay, so Jeff Bezos, evil. No,
I don't know. I only, on the evil scale, we should have an evil scale. I think Google totally wins. Everyone else, let's see.
Most evil, Google. Yeah.
I don't know about I don't find Jeff too evil. Of course, he's.
Yeah, I don't think so. I was just joking a little bit because he looks, Lex Luthor and Superman. But so he created a new AI startup. He's going to be co-CEO. So he's coming back. He's going to actually be working. It's called Project Prometheus. They received $6 billion in funding, some from Bezos himself. The startup's going to build AI products for engineering and manufacturing in fields like computers, aerospace, and automobiles. And it's funny because they position that as different than all the LLMs like XAI, different than, OpenAI, which is not true. Because what do you think MacroHeart is? What do you think Elon's doing? What do you think he's going to use as AI, Elon? He's going to do it for all of his manufacturing. Jeff Lutz has been talking about how so much can be done to improve manufacturing using AI. Yeah. Anyway, so this is their positioning. Their AI products are going to be engineering and manufacturing in fields like computers, aerospace, and automobiles. The company already has almost 100 staff, including researchers from Meta, OpenAI, and Google DeepMind. So yet another company returns to the trenches as co-CEO, and he's going to get his hands dirty again. He's backing this. He will share the position with Vic Bajaj, who previously led and co-founded Google's life sciences division. This guy also founded Verily, a biotech startup owned by Alphabet, co-founder Foresight. Yeah. So this is, we're back.
And I think, like, Amazon, even though I'm not a shareholder, they're not convincing enough for me, but they're definitely very strong. I would not underestimate them. They are also operating with Jeff Bezos culture, right? They're under the radar. Mm-hmm. They're executing cold-bloodedly. They never want to be the fancy ones or the first, but they're always the close second. Look at the data centers. Look at the dedicated chips. Look at the Anthropic deal. They're executing like crazy. And they're also one of the few companies, maybe the only one, maybe together with Tesla, that can benefit from AI on both sides. They're creating a massive cloud product, but are also massively improving productivity for Amazon.
Yeah.
And I think Amazon will just be absolutely dominating the globe on retail.
Yeah, like you got robots, you got AI, you need autonomy for transportation.
And all that kind of stuff. So Amazon is an absolute winner, but that's what I mean. These people are all winners. I like Meta the most because they're the least winner right now, but I think they have the most alpha. But I think Microsoft, Google, and Amazon, they're just killing it. I mean, these people execute.
So Elon replied to that news and saying, haha, no way, laugh. And he goes, copycat. Because this guy's been copying him everything. But like you said, he's a force to be reckoned with. And he knew, I think Jeff knows, that if he doesn't do this, he's already retired. He's having fun in his life. He's got yachts.
And also, look at Blue Origin. I know it's easy to mock them. They just landed the rocket. They will be the only competitor for SpaceX, and that's an enormous business. Of course, Elon is cooler. Of course, Elon is the guy who makes it all happen in the first place, but don't underestimate Jeff just being, a year behind and just executing and getting there too.
Yeah. Fast follower, and he needs it. So because you're right, because that was a major point. Okay, in order to do things like the big ideas, AI data centers in space, no one can do that. Microsoft can't do it, because they don't have space starships. But if you have Blue Origin, then you all of a sudden have a potential chance. So right now, the only company who can do this is Elon, because he's got SpaceX, the Starship, you got the data centers, you got the energy, you got everything you need to do this. You got Starlink. But a combination of this guy, he could do it. He could do this. He could do space-based AI.
And we have to understand why I'm so also bullish on Amazon, but of course I'd rather have Tesla, is because we are talking about not some small little, let's build a coffee shop. Elon has the better coffee shop and now there's no place for more coffee shops. We are dealing with multi-hundreds of trillions of dollars of opportunities, both on Earth, just rolling out AI in all verticals. This is hundreds of trillions. And so, Jeff, can you go in with a startup and just grab all the stuff while Elon also grabs all the other stuff? Space, I mean, don't get me started. There's no limit there's enough space in space.
Okay, you had your joke that you were telling me before we...
my favorite joke for today.
What's your joke?
Or yesterday, I tweeted it. In the race to the moon between Tesla and SpaceX, I'm betting on Tesla.
Okay.
The stock is going to the moon first.
The stock is going.
Tesla stock will arrive at the moon before SpaceX.
Before SpaceX, okay. But SpaceX obviously is going to get there.
SpaceX will actually be on the moon. But
thank you so much, Joe. That was a lot of fun. Love talking to you about future and these kind of concepts. And you always have good thoughts and insights. Follow Joe if you want to check him out. Go to check out pioneerlands.net. This is the kind of conversation that he's diving deep in. Thank you. Bye, Joe.
Thank you.
I've created a website that is the most comprehensive resource for the Tesla investor. Please check it out. Simply go to my website at herbertong.com.